all the conspiracies are finally being exposed. What is left to do? Celebrate.
Wap, 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 Trump mess him up. Wap, 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 Biden is a god. Trump is done, and I got my ear to the street. Shut up, OD7 Quantity, sleepy, holler, Chef G. This man is a creep. I thought I would remind you, sniffing women's hair. Oh, wait, she's a minor. They not like Trump. They not like Trump. They not like Trump.
The meme videos are totally out of control as all of the things that I've been warning about are finally being disclosed, or finally being revealed, as I soon probably will be out of a job. As of course, there's only so much I can say I told you so, as being a part of independent media for the past 21 years now, seeing what is unfolding, seeing the nominations, seeing the disclosures, I have to say, this is going to be the most eye-opening, exhilarating time of our lifetimes, especially now with this new committee under Donald Trump that will be releasing classified information. Now, sure, there's some people already poo-pooing it. There's some people already talking about the conspiracy within the conspiracy. We'll talk about that in just a little bit here, but we have a congresswoman that some people are questioning her previous kind of background that now will be at the helm of declassifying all of the government secrets surrounding JFK, RFK, MLK, aliens, the 9/11 files, the Epstein files, you name it. All the stuff that we've been kind of begging government for many years to just be a little transparent, a little honest. All the things that the government has been extremely stubborn on and sitting down in their chair and saying, no, we're not going to tell you anything here, highlighting how they probably had a lot of things to be worried about, especially when it comes to culpability, especially when it comes to people pointing the fingers directly at them, which they knowingly got to themselves by making themselves look super guilty through all of the secrecy, through all of the classifications, through all of the denials of the Freedom of Information Act that we've been trying to get into. But now for the first time, we are promised a window, a purview into some of the darkest, biggest secrets from the U.S. federal government, the CIA, and all the other private contractors that work for the U.S. government in the shadows under black budgets that have never really been accounted for until now. Point by point, Deutsche, Elon Musk going, where's that money going to? Explain it now. We want to know. And I think the American people are just going to be flabbergasted, are going to be shocked already. The little that this congresswoman has said, specifically about two shooters being there at the JFK assassination, is major. As she recently was asked by CNN if she's going to be releasing any data surrounding Trump and Epstein. And again, we covered this issue extensively. I could go into it again. But in short, Donald Trump was one of the few people that actually kicked him out, isolated him, and then, of course, was one of the few people that participated with the lawyers that were representing the victims and actually helped them out when a lot of very other prominent people, you would think CNN, you would ask Bill Gates, hey, you would think CNN would go to Bill Clinton. You would think CNN would go to Woody Allen and all these. You would think they would go to the Prime Minister of Australia, whose daughter was seen hanging out with Epstein, by the way. So many interconnect. You would think they would go to, so many other countries and so many other places to ask this question, but no. They're hyper-focused on Trump, and the way that they, baited and created this article is that they're asked to release all the Trump-Epstein ties. Again, we know a lot about this. We're going to find out a lot more from the more sinister nature of government, as this segment from CNN was absolutely pretty interesting, to say the least.
And she's promising to share whatever she finds. Now, when I talked to her, she made clear she believes there could have been a second shooter in the JFK assassination.
Yeah, that totally makes sense when you add up and look at the information that we were given, the footage, the Zapruder film, and more importantly, all the other circumstantial evidence. Yeah, that it absolutely was the second shooter, since Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't even capable of pulling off that many shots in that short of distance, and was either one of the most premier, best snipers in the world that didn't even frickin' use the advanced tech that was available still at that time, somehow was the most masterful, best skill shooter ever. Or there were two shooters.
This despite the Warren Commission's conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone and there was no evidence of a broader plot behind President Kennedy's death.
Yeah, please trust the original cover-up effort here under the Warren Commission here. CNN loves their commissions. They love their official stories. Believe them. No, the Warren Commission. Like, that actually holds any weight here. That was a larger cover-up effort there, Goomba.
I think that the Warren Commission and the information that they presented was not the full picture to the American people.
So you said that you think there could be 2 shooters. Who do you think could have been involved in that?
I don't know who, again, I have not seen the declassified files yet. There are many doctors, to include people that were in the attending operating room when President Kennedy was shot, that actually said that they noticed multiple entry wounds, not just in the neck, but also the head, and then also...
Yep, breaking the official story of how many shots were actually fired at JFK here. Who would do this? Who would have the possibility to have the U.S. government, the U.S. media, and everyone else involved here lie? Who would have that kind of power and authority? The Iranians is something that John Bolton would say.
At the autopsy in Maryland, they noticed that there was an entry wound in the back. And so, in my opinion, I mean, this is probably the biggest cold case file in American history.
Was there anything that could convince you that it was just Lee Harvey Oswald? Was anything that convinced you of that?
How Lee Harvey Oswald literally said, "I'm a patsy," and then they shot and took his life so he couldn't testify. This is like the laziest, most sloppiest kind of cover-up that we have ever seen before, as, of course, make sure that you are on top of all the larger cover-up efforts by getting yourself some tea on wearechange.shop. Yes, we launched our own tea. A lot of people have coffees. We have tea. One of my favorite is, of course, the white peach flavored tea, as, of course, this is the first tea centered around making sure that you get no microplastics in your balls. Yes, you heard that correctly. Sip Happens organic white peach tea, available right now on wearechange.shop. We also have lemon ginger for the overall kind of health benefits. This tea, really good, top-notch stuff, and you get a big bag of it. It's actually right here behind me. Hold on, where's this camera? This camera's right here. Not a big, no, not this camera. This camera, boom. This camera right here just shows you, again, a huge bag of tea. You can make a lot of it. I like iced teas. I've never been able to get really good teas without it being like poisoned with microplastics or nonsense or bull crap. And a lot of the tea bags filled with crap, a lot of the containers filled with crap, a lot of them filled with a lot of pesticides and other bull crap. And again, I worked with Jeremy from the Quartering, and then we released this tea, which is some really top-notch stuff, which you could get exclusively on wearechange.shop, as, of course, some people just don't like coffee, and they prefer tea. Tea is definitely the right alternative, and if you're going to be drinking tea, drink it from a health perspective, not in a way where it kind of creates more detrimental damage to your balls and your brain, since many people are finding huge amounts of microplastics in balls and brains. Stay away from that. Now let's continue on with this larger story that CNN loves to tote around the official version of, again, just how much of a brown noser are they for the CIA? I mean, they might as well just come out with CIA, sponsored by the CIA. CNN, CIA News Network. That's essentially what they are.
I want to see all the declassified information. If I'm wrong, I'll admit that. But as of right now, based on some of the stuff that's already publicly out there, I don't agree with that theory.
You obviously been involved in trying to figure out about unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. This is part of your task force as well. Do you believe the government is hiding information about extraterrestrial life?
I find it very, very odd that instead of just coming out and saying we don't have anything, that we're constantly being stonewalled and stovepiped with certain information. In my opinion, the fact that they're hiding it probably means that there's something there.
So the Epstein list, I think there's some reports that Trump's name might have been on there. Not that there's any allegation to anything wrong, but would you put any information out there, even if it somehow implicated the president?
I will put out information to the American people, as that is what we promised to do. But again, when you have only partial truths, then you can create a narrative implying that the president would be doing something that he's not. So I would hope and I would think that having the full picture will answer those questions and obviously refute those allegations.
And last question for you is, some people say they're chasing conspiracies. What do you say to that?
It's chasing spoiler alerts there, buddy. Again, they hate conspiracy theories. They hate independent media. Why? Because we're right and they're wrong, and they have always been wrong when it comes to major news events that they twist, that they turn, and these larger kind of exposés that are coming are going to be big. Now, I have one personal pet peeve. I just hope that they release the documents so we could look at them ourselves. I hope this is not just a commission so they don't have to release it to the general public. I want a WikiLeaks style release here. Now, there's some people questioning and saying, hey, this could be a larger cover-up effort. This congresswoman could be lying to us. This congresswoman could be hiding the documents, not releasing them fully, and then twisting it to make it look like something that didn't happen, or covering up for the true, real kind of puppet masters out there. Now, if that's true, we, of course, will be covering it as best as we can, and that's why I think full transparency is critically key and important here, since the government has so ritualistically abused their position of power. The only way for us to trust you now is for you to be as accountable, as transparent as possible. Release all of them. Let us see. Let us look at every single thing that was said. Let us understand the documents. Let us put the picture together. We're okay. If you guys want to do that too, that's fine, but don't hide the documents. That's my major kind of pet peeve here. That's what I hope really happens here. A lot of people are saying this congresswoman worked and did this and this type of adult thing, and I'm like, let's give them the benefit of the doubt here. The Trump administration so far has been over-exceeding and doing way better than what a lot of people expected them to do. A lot of people that were in my circle were specifically lambasting me and beating me up at the altar saying, you statist, you think he's going to keep his promises? I think he has. I think he's done a lot more than what he actually has even promised. I think there's a reason why Kash Patel, the future FBI director that hasn't been yet confirmed by the Senate, is being denied. I think the FBI is trying to get their ducks in a row. I think they're trying to get their story in a row, since, of course, they're also implicated. They're also involved here. And there's a larger possibility of them having some larger hand at this, which they do, because there's no frickin' way. There's no way. For 30 years, you have children coming to you and you're ignoring them, specifically about this larger Epstein case. This case, I think, is being denied disclosure. I think Kash Patel is being denied confirmation. I think we're seeing the kind of waiting period, the trial period, the buffer period right now that truly is trying to pull something over us. Now, what will Kash Patel do? What will this congresswoman do? Let's give them the benefit of that. I think they're going to do the right thing. I think they're going to release the documents. I think they're going to be as open and as transparent as we will ever get government to be. And right now, even though some people are poo-pooing this larger idea and saying, no, it's a cover-up within a cover-up, let's wait. And if it is a cover-up, we'll expose it. But right now, I don't think that type of conversation is helping the general kind of cause here of what we're all trying to do. Already, when it comes to understanding the larger implications of what JFK and his larger assassination, the larger implications of elements within our own government taking out a sitting U.S. president, all right? That has earth-shadowing ramifications that will be with us forever. If it comes out officially, which, again, these documents could also be a nothing burger. We also have to understand, and if it is a nothing burger and the commission comes out and says, yeah, there's nothing here, we're not going to release the documents, then people are going to be absolutely up in arms. That's why I say release the documents, let the people see for themselves. But there is a possibility, worst case scenario, that this was just government bureaucracy just messing with us, because that's what the government does. I think that's what they're also doing with the aliens. I think they're just flying high advanced tech. I think they're hiding documents in order just to say, ha, 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 we screwed people over, because that's usually how government acts. Now, what's the larger kind of sinister, bigger truth here? They probably assassinated JFK because he wasn't playing ball geopolitically. He wasn't playing ball when it came to the larger kind of invasions. He wasn't playing ball with other foreign countries. And a lot of them kind of came together along with the intel agencies. And just like we saw with the economic hitman, they always try to persuade people to do what they want them to do. And if that doesn't work, they just take them out. I think that's essentially what happened here. And then they went after RFK, who was going to get justice about that. Then they went after MLK just for the hell of it. And they probably went after Malcolm X too. Who else did they assassinate? Who else did they go after? Probably a lot more people that we don't even know about and won't ever hear about. As, of course, when you allow a branch of government, when you allow a sect of bureaucrats to do anything and everything that they want, you're dealing with a very precarious, dangerous situation, as Donald Trump now, I would argue, needs to release these documents. And if he doesn't, he still allows his greatest enemies to have a lot of power and influence in this society that they will wield against him. So if you're Donald Trump right now, I think it's of the utmost importance to defang the intel agencies. How do you do that? You expose them for their crimes, and you get rid of the compromise that they have on everyone else. Because that compromise is going to be used on a lot of the people who don't want to be held accountable for all the horrible stuff that they did, especially on that private island, to go after Donald Trump. And that's essentially how a lot of this compromise, extortion, and a lot of these larger kind of dirty secrets within the realms of power absolutely work. That power structure is evil, and it needs to be called out. And guess what? It might just be called out. I hope so. When it is, we'll be covering it. If it isn't, we'll expose it. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.